one of these calendars. And as always, if you're not familiar with it, you can find these economic calendars by just searching Google, type in economic calendar, and it'll give you the events that we have for the week. So starting off, I had some news out of the euro, their CPI. It's like tonight we're gonna have some euro news. In the morning we'll have some USD news, ISM and JOLTS data. So beginning of the week we were eyeing these already, kind of looking to see what type of reaction we'll get in the USD. And then euro retail sales. So euro CPI was a little higher than consensus, but it is coming down. So it's like a percentage point lower. Or actually, the inflation rate, so the CPI is ticking down, but the inflation rate dropped. So the inflation is starting to roll over in the Eurozone. Excuse me, we're itemizing or looking at euro because we were looking at speaking about a euro NZD trade, and it played out pretty decent. It actually moved quicker than I thought, and it'll probably continue. So we're looking at this euro NZD, watching what the euro do. The news coming out of the euro, it's the before. It's one of our members' markups. That was the before, and then there's all the after. So it dropped. A few hours later, it dropped for 100 pips, starting to pull back. So we'll probably get more volatility as we progress in the session with this other euro news coming out. So you got services PMI, a lot of different things surrounding inflation. If this still cools off, we'll see a little bit more weakness in the euro. Then we will move over, or that's in 2 days. So tonight we have got Audi news for tonight. It's tomorrow as well. I'm ahead of myself. Y'all supposed to yo, we do have euro news. So we got unemployment change and unemployment rate for the euro. And we got manufacturing PMIs. So we'll see how those react. If unemployment rate goes up, that's going to be negative, or that. I'm not sure how the market will react with that, because if the unemployment rate does go up, oh no, that's what they want to see from. Let me think about it. That's what they want to see from hikes. So we do get an increase in the unemployment rate that'll show that hikes are working, and that the ECB can kind of slow the throttle on their hiking agenda. So the last language that we had from Christine Lagarde, she was more dovish, even though the market participants expected her to still be hawkish and continue on with her hiking campaign. It got a surprise, and we seen the euro come off. We seen the dollar spike. So we caught some nice plays on that with like euro USD, euro JPY, pretty much all the dollar-based pairs we took advantage of right before that news, and then it carried through with the BOJ. Man, just ain't no cap in the wrap, man. We caught a nice trade. We actually doubled up. Took advantage of like GU, EU, AJ, and we added size back into the USD pairs. So we took pretty much all the USD pairs during that news release. So for this week, we send this out in our members chat. pretty much every week, kind of gives us our big fundamental themes of what we're looking at behind the charts, behind the markets. You guys are more than welcome. There'll be a link in the description where you feel free to join our free chat with over 365 other traders, and we'll send this report out in that group. So looking at starting off with the euro. So there's any big things. So the ECB made a dovish turn this week, not committing to further rate hikes and becoming data dependent. The change in the stance on the back of softer inflation readings, as well as growing signs that the Eurozone economy is heading for a deep recession. T.S. Lombard notes that the ECB hiking cycle is probably over. Lagarde highlighted in a change in policy language with the shift suggesting satisfaction with the current rate levels if data trends remain consistent. So that's why we're again looking at these economic news releases, and we're going to match up if we see signs that inflation is still rolling over. The ECB should be out the way and give us some clear skies for a few trading conditions. Now, Lagarde noted the impact of monetary policy on the real economy, recognizing that tighter financial conditions are influencing investment in real activity, including slowing service sectors. According to Bloomberg sources, ECB officials now view inflation risk as balanced, while growth risks are seen tilting to the downside. So worried about recession. We've been watching for this for a few months. The market took and it started bending in the opposite way, but we have been watching for the Eurozone pull into a deep recession for a while now. So with that being said, we're gonna go take a look at a couple of charts. In this report, we are tracking a few things with China, stock market, US, GBP, what the Fed is doing. Because the markets are always going to be, they're always going to have a relationship, so we can kind of understand and get signals from some of this data and find our timing techniques from these technicals. So a lot of times I don't see traders putting that puzzle together or putting a complete puzzle together and sharpening out some of the things they're doing in the market. So that's what we're here to teach you guys. And let's start with talking about euro, but I did just see this trade kind of produce. Just called out this signal in NZD JPY. We had the BOJ kind of did a flip flop on us. They actually lifted their band on yield curve control. So any of these topics, don't let them intimidate you guys. We do try to break it down to the least compound. The more that you join our calls or around in our network, you'll hear these terms and get more of an understanding of how it affects the market. So they did raise their band on yield, on their yield control, and then they came back and reneged and actually did bond buying yesterday or today, which what had to be yesterday, which caused the market to kind of skyrocket. Now we're kind of pulling back and retracing. So funny thing is, this did take off, and it kind of induced us, wanted us to actually chase. So depending on if you're playing this as a swing trade or intraday trade, could have caught a nice move to the downside. We did take advantage of some of that, but then it happened to come all the way back up to our sell limit. So we're right back in our zone. We thought it was going to take off without us and keep running down, but it came back to pick up more people at the bus station. So we're going to look to play here. We're actually already in this trade with a pretty nice, pretty tight stop. So we're going to let this go ahead and roll. The euro trades. So we got a euro USD. So this has been following our little magic art drawings, our magnet lines. We see it dropping